A warm welcome to the students of BA, BSc and BCom first year. So in the previous video, we have completed the lesson The Curve in the Sky and reading passage Chindu Ellamma. So today we are going to learn about soft skills, that is motivation and goal setting. Motivation and goal setting. So I am Sucharita, Government Degree College, Khairatabad, Hyderabad, Department of English. So now we are going to focus on soft skills, that is motivation and goal setting. This is also like an essay question in your examination, which nearly carries 16 marks in your examination. So please listen carefully. Soft skills. So, soft skills are usually or generally each and every person should possess these soft skills. So, if you want to go to a job and if you want to find a good job, so people are preferring soft skills rather than your hard skills. So, you know what are soft skills? Your behavior, your mannerisms, etc. etc. All these are called as soft skills. So today we are going to see motivation and goal setting. So motivation is that which makes someone want to do something. Factors that can motivate an individual range from the intrinsic desire to do something for personal reward, not financial gain, to the extrinsic completing a task to gain something or avoid a punishment. A motivated person is one who is driven and has an incentive to work hard, directing his or her energies towards completing personal or professional goals. Linked with the idea of motivation is the tool of goal setting. Goal setting can be short term, completing homework by the end of the day, or long term, pursuing a degree in medicine in the hope of becoming a doctor, and can help motivate someone into accomplishing something. In many ways, setting goals makes managing a task easier and gives your life a sense of direction. So, motivation is that which makes someone want to do something. So, if you want someone to do something, the first step is you have to motivate. So, usually, teachers also motivate students to do some tasks like a project which is given to them in the classroom. So, motivation is nothing but it is something like encouraging. So, factors that can motivate an individual range from the intrinsic. So, what is this word intrinsic mean? Intrinsic means it is being naturally. Being naturally is called as intrinsic. So factors that can motivate an individual, they range from the intrinsic, that is natural, desire to do something for personal reward, not financial gain. So they will be what they will be motivated and they have desire and they have that desire to do something for their personal reward and it is not financial gain. So that is only called as motivation. So motivation, you should never think it is done for a financial gain. It is only for their personal reward. They'll be taking up a task and they try to complete it. So, completing a task to gain something or avoid a punishment is called as extrinsic. Okay, so to the extrinsic. So, completing a task to gain something or avoid a punishment, that is called as extrinsic. So, I hope you have understood now what is intrinsic and what is extrinsic. So, a motivated person is one who is driven and has an incentive to work hard. He has incentive to work hard. A motivated person, he is driven and he has an incentive to work hard, and he will be directing his or her energies towards completing personal or professional goals. So there are personal goals and there are professional goals. Professional goals are the goals which are in your office where you are working, or in the institution, or elsewhere where you are working. So you will be using your energies and you will be working hard and you will be striving to meet those professional goals. So, linked with the idea of motivation is the tool of goal setting. So, this idea of motivation and goal setting, they are linked, that you have to remember. Linked with the idea of motivation is the tool of goal setting. So, goal setting can be short term. So, for example, completing the homework. The teacher who has given homework, you have to finish it by the end of the day. So, that may be a short term goal or long term. So, what is a long term goal? Pursuing a degree in medicine in the hope of becoming a doctor. Okay, so this is called as long term goal. You have the desire of becoming a doctor, then you have to work hard, and it is for your personal gain and can help motivate someone into accomplishing something. In many ways, setting goals makes managing a task easier. So the first and foremost thing is you have to set a goal. So if there is no goal, you cannot reach it. So setting goals, it makes managing a task easier. Task will become very easy when you have a goal. For example, I have told you about becoming a doctor. If you have that goal, what will you do? You will set that goal in your life, and from day one you will be striving hard, you will be working hard in order to reach the goal, and it gives your life a sense of direction. So if you don't have any goal, then it is like a kite which is flying in the air, okay, with no goal. So then that is the thing. So try to imagine yourself in the situations provided below and record how you will react. Your exams are next week, and you have put together a schedule to help prepare you for your studies. These exams are important to you and your future. Your parents are supportive, and your college is giving you all the training you need to you need to excel. You begin studying only to be interrupted by your cousins. They have unexpectedly dropped by and are planning to spend a month in the city. You are delighted to see them and enjoy their company. However, the exam is next week. Do you continue to prepare for the examination, or do you spend time with them? So, so you try to imagine yourself in these situations, okay, and you will record how you are going to react. So now you imagine that your exams are next week, and you have what did you do in order to excel in your examination? You have put a schedule to help prepare you for your studies. In order to prepare yourself for the studies, you have prepared a schedule. So these exams are important to you and your future. So your parents are also supporting, and your college is also giving you all the training you need in order to be excellent and to excel in your studies. So you will be starting very sincerely, and you begin with studying, only to be interrupted by your cousins. They have unexpectedly dropped by and are planning to spend a month in the city. Now, your cousins have come to the city. They have dropped here, and they are planning. They are planning what? nearly a month to spend in this city, and then you are delighted to see them. You are very much happy seeing your cousins and you enjoy their company. And however, you think that the exam is next week, do you continue to prepare for the examination? That means, will you be tempted to enjoy with your cousins, or do you continue to prepare for the examination, or do you spend time with your cousins? So you have two choices before you. Do you continue to prepare for the exam? Will you honestly prepare for the examination, or will you enjoy with your cousins? Two choices are there. So choice is yours as how you are going to proceed. Unfortunately, you have performed poorly in your first internal assessment, scoring marks that are far below the average. The college principal summons you to her room where she and your class teacher are waiting to discuss your marks. Your class teacher is sympathetic, but your principal appears to be stern, harsh, and very unhappy with you. How do you proceed? Do you attempt to appease both teacher and principal, or do you defend yourself and question their methods? So the thing is, unfortunately, in the last, that is the first internal assessment, how is your performance? It is very poor. You have performed very poorly in your first internal assessment, and scoring marks that really they are far below average, very poor. Your performance is very poor. Now the college principal, he will call you, or she will call you to her room, and when where she and your class teacher are waiting to discuss your marks. So your class teacher is there along with you, and both the principal and the teacher, they will be waiting to discuss about your marks, about your first internal assessment, where your performance is very poor. Now your class teacher is very sympathetic. She is graceful and she is merciful. But how is your principal? Your principal appears to be very stern, very strict. He is very harsh, or she is very harsh, and she is very unhappy with you. Then how do you proceed? Do you attempt to appeasement? Do you attempt to satisfy both your teacher and principal, or do you defend yourself? Do you defend yourself, and do you question their methods? That is, principal and teacher. Are you going to question them? So, the above situations depict common scenarios students might face. It is your responsibility as a student to dedicate an adequate amount of time to studies and preparation so that you can perform well in your exams and set a good foundation for your future. The paragraphs below explain how one should reach in such situations. So, the above situations we have seen both, that is, your cousins have dropped in and they are going to spend in the city for a month, and you have exams the next week. And regarding your first internal assessment, you have performed very poorly, and you are summoned to your principal along with your teacher. So, all these are the common scenarios students face usually in the schools or colleges. So, what is your responsibility as a student? You have to dedicate yourself. You have to dedicate an adequate amount of time. That means, according the schedule which you have prepared for studying, you have to dedicate that amount of time to studies and preparation, so that you can perform well in your examination. So if you spend time in your studies, and if you do hard work, and if you are interested in your studies, then you can perform well in your exams, and you can set yourself as a good foundation for your future. So these paragraphs below, they explain how one should react in such situations. So these paragraphs that we are going to do, they will be telling us as how we have to react in such situations. So when trying to accomplish a goal, it is important to remember not to be easily distracted. In this situation, your cousins who are in the city for a month will understand that you need to prioritize your studies. If you were to postpone studying, you risk not being fully prepared for your examination, and worse, you risk making a habit of setting aside your responsibilities. Here, you must remain motivated and focus on acquiring a good grade so that you can enjoy your time with your cousins after the examination. Sorry. When trying to accomplish a goal, in order to reach your goal, and when you are trying, so you have to remember that which is important. What is that importance? Not to be easily distracted to the attractions like your cousins when they come. You should not be distracted. In these situations, your cousin who are in the city for a month, they will understand that you need to prioritize your studies. That means you have to give priorities to your studies. They know your cousins. So you have to understand, you need to understand that, and that is very important. So if you were to postpone studying, you risk not being fully prepared for your examination. So if you postpone your studies, and if you want to enjoy with your cousins who have come to the city, then you are at risk because you are not fully prepared for your examination. And in this assessment also, your performance, it will be worse, and your risk making a habit of setting aside your responsibilities. So you have the responsibility of doing studies. So if you don't do this, if you don't perform your responsibilities and don't hard work in your studies and start enjoying with your cousins who have come to the city, then definitely you are at risk. So here you must remain motivated and focus on acquiring a good grade. So you have to focus on your studies, and you have to completely focus that you have to attain a good grade like A and A plus, so that you can enjoy your time. So as soon as you have performed well in your examinations, then definitely you can enjoy your time with your cousins after the examination. So this is the way how you have to react when there is a situation like this. So in this scenario, your teacher and principal have called a meeting as they wish to understand why you have performed so poorly. In their eyes, you have not met your true potential. It is easy to get angry or to be defensive about your marks, but motivated individuals recognize when they have made a mistake and understand that they need to work hard to accomplish their goals. Here, getting angry jeopardizes your position with your teachers and your position in school. The solution is to accept their advice, to put forward a plan of action, and to take the necessary steps forward. So, in this scenario, your teacher and your principal, they have called you to a meeting, and they wish to understand why you have performed so poorly. Why was your performance so poor in the examination? And in their eyes, you have not met your true potential, the skills you have, or the capacities which you have not used them completely. So they know that. So it is easy to get angry or to be defensive about your own poor performance or about your marks. But what does it teach us? But motivated individuals, that is the students, they recognize when they have made a mistake. So when they have made a mistake, they recognize it and they understand that they need to work hard, and then they have to accomplish their goals. Whichever goal they have set, in order to reach their goal, they have to work hard. So, what did we learn here? That if we make a mistake, we should not defend ourselves, but we have to recognize the mistake where we have gone wrong, and we have to understand, we have to correct ourselves, and then we need to work hard in order to accomplish our goal or reach our goal. So, here getting angry jeopardizes your position. So, if you get angry on the teachers or on the principal, then what happens? You will be in danger regarding your position with your teachers and your position in the school. So, this you have to keep it in your mind, and then the solution is to accept their advice. When you have gone wrong and when your performance is poor, then the solution is you have to accept their advice and you have to put forward a plan of action and to take necessary steps forward. So, this is soft skills, motivation, and goal setting. So, like this, we have to reach our goal. So, this is also one of the soft skills, and try to practice the soft skills twice or thrice, write them so that you can perform well in your examination. Now, we are going to see value orientation. Value orientation, well begun is half done. So, well begun is half done is a common expression used to suggest that if you begin an assignment well, then completing it will not require as much effort. For example, if you were given the task of making a presentation on a particular topic, it would make sense to begin by researching that topic rather than leaping ahead to creating PowerPoint slides. Collecting all the raw data you will require for your presentation is hard work but necessary. Once it is done, the steps that follow will not be as difficult or time consuming. So, well begun is half done. So, from your school days, you are listening to this common expression. Well begun is half done. This is a common expression and it is used to suggest that if you begin an assignment well, then completing it will not require as much effort. So, when you begin the assignment, so you have to complete it. So, completing is the main important thing, because beginning everybody will do, but completing it requires a little effort. Okay, so if you put your efforts, whether it be assignment or whether it be a project, you have to perform it well, not only beginning with the assignment, but you have to finish it or complete it. So, for example, you were given the task of making a presentation on a particular topic. So, your teacher in your college or in your school, okay, they will be giving you a task. What is that task? That you have to make a presentation on one particular topic. Then it would make sense to begin by researching that topic. So, how will you present that topic? First, you have to do research on that topic. If you have related books in your personal library or in your college library, you can collect them, or you can go to the internet resources and you can collect about that topic which is given to you, rather than leaping ahead, jumping to create PowerPoint slides. First, you have to do the underground work or the hard work which is given. then collecting all the raw data you will require for your presentation is hard work. So when you are collecting the raw data you will require for your presentation is what? Hard work. You have to do hard work in order to collect the data. Once it is done, the steps that follow will not be difficult. Once you do the underground work or the raw data or making research or collecting and do hard work, then the next step will be very, very easy. So the starting steps may be difficult, but you need to do hard work and have patience. Then it is not difficult and it is also not time consuming. Then another way of looking at this idea is through the example of a job interview. Under such circumstances, employers are looking for you to exhibit traits they desire in their employees. If you were to begin the interview poorly, perhaps by arriving late or dressing inappropriately, then you risk your interviewers believing that you do not have a professional attitude, thereby severely reducing your chances of getting the job. Another way is of looking at this idea is through the example of job interview. You have to attend a job interview. So under such circumstances, what are the employers doing? The employers, they are looking for you to exhibit, okay, the traits they desire in their employees. So if you were to begin the interview poorly, how did you begin your interview? In a very poor manner. So the first step of this poorness is you have arrived late to the interview. And when they look at your dress, your dressing is inappropriate, it is not suitable, then you risk your interviewers believing that you do not have a professional attitude. So what they are going to think about you, the employers, that you are not professional and you don't have professional attitude, thereby severely reducing your chances of getting the job. So they will reduce the chances of getting the job. So whatever work you are assigned, be it personal or professional in nature, it is always wise to systematically approach the task and plan in advance, prioritizing that what needs to be completed first and foremost. This will lead to a good start, and a good start will give you the necessary momentum to complete your work in an efficient, satisfactory manner and help you reach your goal faster. So, whatever work you are assigned, whether it is personal or whether it is professional in nature, always the work which is assigned to you, it should have a systematic approach. You have to systematically approach and do the task, and when the task is given you have to plan well in advance and you have to give priority what needs to be completed first, what should be done first, and that is first and foremost thing, what should I do in order to complete this task. So about that you have to think, and you have to give priority or you have to prioritize those tasks which come first. So this will lead to a good start. So once you do a good start, it will give you the necessary momentum. So this momentum means it will give you strength to complete your work, that which is given to you in an efficient and satisfactory manner. So once you have done your work, you should feel that satisfaction and help you reach your goal faster. So once you do all these things step by step, then you can reach your goal in a very fast manner. And the main thing is you will become an efficient person, and not only that, yourself and your soul will find satisfaction. So this is only called as value orientation. The common expression which is well begun is half done. Then the next topic is writing expansion of a sentence into a paragraph. So we'll do this writing expansion of a sentence into a paragraph. A paragraph is a collection of related sentences dealing with a single topic. In a paragraph, ideas are presented in an organized and logical fashion. As a writing exercise, you may be given a sentence and asked to expand it into a paragraph. Here is how to go about it. So, the first point is read and understand the given sentence fully. Then, the second one, think about what details and examples you can add to illustrate the meaning of the given sentence or to expand on the idea behind the given sentence. If the sentence is a metaphor or a simile, explain it in plain language. Ensure that whatever you add is relevant to the main idea of the given sentence. If the sentence is a conclusion, then retrace the thought behind it to a starting point to build an argument. The basic rule of thumb when composing a paragraph is to restrict it to one single idea. After you finish, check what you have written to ensure that there are no mistakes in spelling, grammar, and punctuation. So, expansion of a sentence, only one sentence will be given, and what you have to do, you have to understand the sentence and you have to make it into a simple topic, that is, you can write in a paragraph and you can present it in an organized and logical fashion. So that is only called as expansion of a sentence into paragraph. So what is this paragraph? It is a collection of related sentences. All the sentences, when they are collected dealing with one single topic, it becomes a paragraph. So in this paragraph, all the ideas are presented. And how are these ideas presented? They are presented or in a well organized and logical fashion. So it should make sense when you write a paragraph. And it can also be called as a writing exercise. You may be given a sentence and asked to expand it. So one single sentence will be given, and you are told to do expansion of that sentence into a paragraph. So what are the usual or general points in order to expand? So the first one is read and understand the given sentence fully. So what is the sentence given that you have to read? Okay, for example, here a sentence is given: of all animals, dogs make wonderful pets. That is the sentence given. So what you have to do when such sentence is given, you have to read well and you should try to understand that how I can make it into a organized and logical paragraph. So like that you have to understand. So think about what details and examples you can add. Which examples can I choose related to this topic? And how I can add to illustrate the meaning. Illustrations you can take in order to expand the meaning of the given sentence. Illustrations are nothing but they are examples, or to expand on the idea behind the given sentence. How this sentence I can expand to the best should be your thought, thinking. So if the sentence is a metaphor or a simile, if it is given like a simile or a metaphor, then what you have to do? You should try to explain it in very simple or plain language. That is the second point. And the third point is ensure that whatever you add is relevant to the main idea. Whatever you are adding in the paragraph, that is the sentences, you should never forget about the topic. That is the main idea. It should be relevant. So, always you should be connected, in other words, to the main idea of the given sentence. Then the next one is, if the sentence is a conclusion, then retrace the thought behind it to a starting point. So sometimes they give you the sentence is a conclusion. It is just a conclusion. Then what you have to do? You have to think and you have to retrace as what is the starting point of this conclusion. You can easily think as what is the starting point. Now, for example, there is a crow story. Crow story's conclusion is given. Then you can easily retrace the starting point, isn't it? So, like that, you have to retrace and you should try to build an argument. Then, the next one is the basic rule of thumb. You know what is a thumb? Okay. So, the short fat finger is called as the thumb. So, the basic rule of thumb when composing a paragraph is to restrict it to one single idea. So, what does this thumb teach us? That you should be restricted only to one single idea when you are composing a paragraph. This you should not forget. Then after you finish, check what you have written. When finishing the paragraph, students, they are very happy and they are so excited, they will be coming running to the teacher to show their paragraph. But immediately as soon as you finish the paragraph, what you have to do? You have to examine or you have to check and you have to ensure that there are no mistakes in spelling or regarding grammar and punctuation. So when you are perfect in your spelling, grammar and punctuation, then that means you have done your paragraph well or your writing well. Now here there is an example. Okay, so we are going to see this example. Let us look at an example. Suppose you have been given the following sentence: of all animals, dogs make wonderful pets. Earlier I told you these dogs, they make wonderful pets. This is the topic sentence. So this sentence is also called a topic sentence. So you have to keep the guidelines given above in mind and then write 5 to 6 sentences related to this topic sentence. That is, of all animals, dogs make wonderful pets. Not 6, 7 sentences. You students, you can write so many sentences about your pet dogs. So many of the people these days, they are very fond of these pets. Okay, so there are many things a pet can add to one's life. That is the sentence. Okay, and then the next one is, it is an affectionate companion. Sorry, it is an affectionate companion for young children as well as elderly people. It is a very good friend to young children and especially the elderly people. Then dogs are obedient creatures and they can be trained to guard one's house. So dogs, they will be guarding houses and they are obedient. Whatever work we tell these dogs, immediately they will do. They are not like the human beings, lazy. Then, the simple act of taking one's pet dog for his walk is a step towards an active, healthy lifestyle. So, the simple act of taking one's pet, we will be taking dogs for a walk, isn't it? So, that is a healthy lifestyle. So, like this, you can frame sentences and you can write down. Then, after expanding the topic sentence, you have to conclude the paragraph. How you have to conclude? It should be concluded logically, sensibly. Okay, so dogs have proven to be loyal friends to humankind from time immemorial. From many ages, that is, these dogs, they are proved that they are loyal friends to mankind. Loyal means these dogs, they are faithful friends to the human beings. Okay, so like that we can see 6 sentences here. The first sentence, of all animals, dogs make wonderful pets. Then second, there are many things a pet dog can add to one's life. Then third sentence, it is an affectionate companion for young children as well as elderly people. Then the fourth sentence, dogs are obedient creatures and can be trained to guard one's house. Then the fifth sentence is the simple act of taking one's pet dog for a walk is a step toward an active, healthy lifestyle. Then the last concluding sentence is dogs have proven to be loyal friends to humankind from time immemorial. So, like this, you have to frame the sentences. So, there are no spelling mistakes and there are no grammatical mistakes and there are no punctuation mistakes here. So, in that way, you have to do sentences. So, if we put all these sentences together, we will have a coherent paragraph. So, edit the paragraph and check to see that you have not made any errors. Of all animals, dog. Now, this is edited and this is given as a paragraph. Now I am going to read that paragraph. So listen carefully. It is put in a paragraph form. Okay. So of all animals, dogs make wonderful pets. There are many things a pet dog can add to one's life. It is an affectionate companion for young children as well as elderly people. Dogs are obedient creatures and can be trained to guard one's house. The simple act of taking one's pet dog for a walk is a step toward an active, healthy lifestyle. Dogs have proven to be loyal friends to humankind from time immemorial. So, beautifully and logically and in an organized way, this paragraph is built. So, like this, we have to do. What is that? Writing expansion of a sentence into a paragraph. Now, here one more exercise is given. That is, we will now try an exercise, expand the given sentence into a paragraph. So, what is the topic sentence? My first day of school was extremely memorable. So, what could be the next 5 sentences as we have done like the dog sentence? So, what could be my first day of school? It was extremely memorable. How can you start? How can you start your school or your kindergarten experience or your primary experience? How can you do? So they gave an exercise here, that is topic sentences. My first day of school was extremely memorable. So you have to build up at least 5 sentences regarding this memorable experience. Now, the first sentence already it is given here. My first day of school was extremely memorable. So, the next five sentences regarding me, I can tell. So, regarding me, my parents they joined me in Kotwal's Montessori School, which is situated in West Maridpalli, Secunderabad. And my mom and dad they bought me a new frock and then new bag, a blue water bottle with parrots on it, and I wore new shoes on my feet. I still remember all those things. I was very much delighted and very happy on that very first day as I was going to school. So I was very happy, and after entering into the school, as it was the first day of my school, I wept a lot until my parents came and picked me up. So it was finally, or concluding this sentence, I can tell it was a painful and not that painful, but it was a pleasurable experience at the same time, a little weeping, I can say. So, like this, you have to frame some sentences that which are given. So, I framed for nearly five sentences regarding my first day experience. So, you try to do them. Take a paper and start writing the five sentences of the topic sentence, that is, my first day of school was extremely memorable. So, in your textbook on page number 22, this exercise is given and try to finish it. So, this is really a pleasure exercise, I can say. So, very happily you can do it. So, first you can think it in your own language, and then that is in your mother tongue, and then you can translate it into English language and start writing them and presenting them. Okay, then thank you.